question that you always ask on an interview?
I always ask people to tell me a little bit about themselves, like what they like to do outside of work, what their interests, hobbies, those types of things are.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to future interviewers?
Be prepared. There's lots of things you can do to be prepared. You should always come with a copy of your resume, even if you've sent them one. You should have researched the job and maybe talked to people that already work there, so you'll have some understanding and ask good questions. You should have an idea of, what maybe the next steps might be in the process, and make sure you ask what those next steps would be.
What is one thing that immediately makes you dismiss a candidate?
There are several things that come to mind. First is never be late. Matter of fact, be early. Always come prepared. Make sure you're making good eye contact throughout the interview. Always at the end of the interview you want to ask, what are the next steps? What do I need to do to get this job? What are the next steps in the process? And to make sure you follow up with a thank you note.
What is one question that you always ask in an interview?
So one question I always ask is, what do you like to do at work? So we're trying to gauge the motivation around that particular interviewer, or interviewee. So will they like the job, that type of thing. And I also like to ask them where they see themselves in 1 to 3 years, so we can get an understanding as to what they like to do and where they think they're going down the road to see if they fit into the company.
What is one thing that immediately makes you dismiss a candidate?
The primary item would be if, while interviewing, we uncover that they're lying on their interview or about their resume, and that's immediate.
What is one piece of advice that you give to a future interviewee?
Probably the biggest item would be to make sure that you understand the company you're interviewing with. So if you're going to talk to IBM, or you're going to talk to a small company, or you're talking to whatever company you're talking with, make sure you research them, understand what the position is you're interviewing for, obviously. A little bit about the company, are they growing? Ask questions about the company itself to look intelligent about your potential future employer. And in alignment with that, make sure you ask a lot of questions. Not too many questions though, make sure that there's a balance, but asking questions always shows interest on your part, that you understand what the company does, you want to know more about how you can fit in, how you can help, that type of thing.
Throughout this video, we found out that one thing that interviewers ask during an interview process is what they do outside of work and to see if they're a well-rounded person, and also what they plan to do in the future within like 1 to 3 years. A couple of things we found out that immediately dismisses a candidate is if they arrive late to an interview because it leaves a really bad first impression, if they have bad communication skills such as bad eye contact and speaking, and also if they're caught lying like on their resume, what they do or their activities. One piece of advice we learned for future interviews is to come prepared, have a resume, fill it out, and know what you're talking about, and be knowledgeable about the job you're interviewing for. Be on time and just be yourself and don't act nervous. Something that surprised us that we learned is that when interviewing for a large corporation, they expect to get a thank you note after the interview, thanking them for taking the time to interview you.